Okay, so what if I told you that one of the world's most ancient epics, a story packed with heroes, demons, and a perfect prince, wasn't just some dusty old book? What if it was retold in the awesome, vibrant panels of a comic book that's reached millions? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. This story of Rama as told by the legendary Amar Chitrakatha. So our guide on this adventure is Amar Chitrakatha. You see, for decades, these comics have been the way millions of people first discovered India's incredible myths and legends. Their whole mission is to take these huge, timeless stories and make them super accessible and just visually amazing. And when I say millions, I'm not kidding. Get this, over 86 million copies have been sold all over the world. This isn't just some comic book series. It's a genuine cultural phenomenon, something parents pass down to their kids. So let's see how they tell the story of our epic hero. All right, let's jump in. We're starting at the very beginning, with the rise of a perfect prince, the hero at the absolute heart of this story, Rama of Ayodhya. Right from the start, Rama was, well, he was different. He was a prodigy. And his skill with a bow and arrow, it wasn't just about being a good warrior. No, it was a sign of his incredible self-discipline and his deep sense of what was right, his dharma. And those qualities are going to define his entire life. And this is where you really see his destiny take shape. To win the hand of the Princess Sita, all these powerful kings and princes had to try and string a divine bow that no one could even lift. They all fail, of course. But Rama? He just walks up, lifts it easily, and then snaps it in half. It was a sure sign that he was way more than just an ordinary mortal. But you know, a hero's story is never that easy, right? Just when he's about to be crowned king, a conspiracy in the palace, all hinging on an old promise, is about to turn his entire world upside down and send him into exile. So how does this all go down? Well, it starts with a jealous maid poisoning the queen's mind. The queen, Kaikeyi, decides to cash in on two favors the king promised her ages ago. And her demands are just shocking. First, her son gets the throne, and second, the real heir, Rama, has to be banished to the forest for 14 long years. And this is what tells you everything you need to know about Rama's character. Does he get angry? Does he fight it? Nope, he just accepts it. To him, honoring his father's word, his dharma, is way more important than any kingdom. It's a truly incredible sacrifice. So now we're deep in the forest. Rama's with his devoted wife Sita and his loyal brother Laksamana. But this is where his greatest challenge is about to begin, because his path is about to cross with the most powerful, arrogant, and cruel demon king in the entire world, Ravana. Ravana, who is just consumed by his own ego and desire, comes up with this sneaky plan. He creates a magical golden deer to lure Rama and Lakshmana away. And while they're gone, he swoops in, kidnaps Sita, and flies her all the way back to his fortress on the island of Lanka. This single act of evil is what kicks off the Great War. While searching for Sita, the brothers stumble upon this just heartbreaking scene. The great eagle king Jatayu is lying on the ground, dying. He had tried so bravely to stop Ravana, but he was no match for the demon king. His sacrifice is the first real sign of just how much danger Sita is in, and it hardens Rama's resolve like steel. But here's the thing, Rama is not fighting this alone. No way. This is where things get really epic. He makes an alliance with the Vanaras, an army of powerful monkeys and bears. Their greatest champion is Hanuman, who does all these impossible things like taking one single, massive leap across the entire ocean to find Sita, and then leading the charge to build a literal bridge of floating stones to Lanka for the invasion. Now, when Hanuman finally finds Sita, this incredibly powerful moment happens. He gives her Rama's ring, which is his way of saying, "I'm coming for you." And in return, she gives him her jewel to take back to Rama, a silent promise that she's holding on, that she has faith. It's this tiny glimmer of hope in all that darkness. But before he leaves, Hanuman decides to send a message. And boy, is it a fiery one. He lets himself get captured just so he can face Ravana. When the demons try to humiliate him by setting his tail on fire, he uses it as a weapon, jumping from rooftop to rooftop and setting the entire capital city of Lanka ablaze. It was a terrifying preview of what was coming. All right, here we go, the final act. The bridge is built, the army is on enemy soil, and the stage is set for the Great War, the final showdown between good and evil. And Ravana's forces are no joke. To even get to him, Rama's army has to face some of the most terrifying warriors imaginable. We're talking about his brother, the giant Kumbhakarna, who was so huge he could literally swallow soldiers whole, and his son Meghnad, a master of dark magic and invisible arrows. After all these brutal battles, with huge losses on both sides, it finally happens. The righteous prince stands face to face with the 10-headed demon king. This is it. Everything has been leading to this single moment. The duel is just titanic, a clash of gods and demons with divine weapons shaking the very earth. But in the end, Rama uses a sacred arrow given to him by the gods, and with one perfect shot, he strikes the final blow. Evil is defeated, and Ravana's reign of terror is finally over. And this, right here, this is the whole reason for the war. After so much pain and separation, after a brutal, bloody conflict, Rama and Sita are together again. The quest is complete, and their long nightmare is finally over. With the 14 years of exile finally complete, they journey home to Ayodhya. And Rama doesn't return as an outcast. He returns as a conquering hero. He's welcomed by his people and is finally crowned the rightful king, starting a long, legendary era of peace and justice. So, what's the big takeaway here? The incredible thing about this story isn't just that it's old, but that it's constantly being retold. And when you see it in a format like a comic book, you realize it's doing more than just telling a tale. It's passing on these core values, like courage, duty, and faith, to a whole new generation, which really makes you think, doesn't it?